All right, everybody, welcome to week 5. Let's take a quick look at what is due from last week, week 4, on Monday, April 27th. That would be today at noon. We started our unit on evolution. You were supposed to watch part of a video lecture and take a homework quiz. Then after that, we gave you a packet on natural selection and evidence for evolution. And you need to fill that in and turn that in on Cami. And lastly, you need to make a Pear Deck submission for the formative. Okay, so please make sure that you have those 3 things turned in by Monday today at noon. For those of you who are ready to move on, let's look at what the new week brings. All right, we're going to do the second half of our evolution and natural selection component here. Today, what we're going to be focusing on is how natural selection and other mechanisms can lead to populations changing. We're going to talk a little bit about some math that is involved. We're going to do some calculations to determine how the alleles in a population are going to change as a result of natural selection and things like that. So let's just take a quick look at what's required this week. We're going to do something a little different, okay? Instead of starting with the standard OV of me clicking through a slideshow, we're trying something new. It is a STEM case study. So you have a lot of background already on natural selection, and this case study is completely virtual. We're going to split it into 2 parts. So the first part is a handbook portion, and I will explain all of this and show you on the website where this stuff is. There's a portion called the handbook, and basically that is going to give you some background information, reviewing natural selection, but also extending and talking about how populations evolve at a micro level. You do not have to hand in your notes for that, but there is a homework quiz that goes with it. Okay, and that is a quiz on Schoology, just like it always has been. Then, in place of independent practice work on Cami, you're actually going to be submitting your answers directly to the website we're going to be working on. It is a virtual case study, and I'll give you some more information about that. But as you go through the case study, you'll be typing answers to questions, and then you'll be writing up a final case report. And that sounds like it's a lot, but it really isn't. It's more like answering questions at the end. So that will be submitted in place of your independent practice work, so nothing to turn in on Schoology there, but you'll turn it in on the website. And then lastly, as we always have, there will be a Pear Deck formative that is required. Okay, so let us take a look at what is going on here. All right, so week 5, we're calling this the Evolution Case Study Week. When you click into this folder, a screencast is linked right here, okay? Before we begin, this is so super important. Even though we are not in school, you still need a recommendation for chemistry for next year. And I take these recommendations very seriously. The placement of your chemistry course, whether you're in academic or honors, can really determine a lot, and I think it's important that you have a say in it. So please read through these directions here. Note that there's a link where you can click on this and get some information about electives that we offer, because in addition to recommending chemistry for next year, I also want to recommend some electives if you're interested. So there's a slideshow that will give you some more information about that. And you're going to open this form in Cami. So let me just quick show you what the form would look like. Okay, so at the beginning here, you're going to give me some basic information. I need your name, your ID number, and who your guidance counselor is. That's really important. But then we need to start having an honest conversation with ourselves. We've been in this class under normal circumstances for about half the year, and I would like you to do a self-assessment of your skills. Notice that these are not skills that are related to how smart you are in biology. I don't think that has a great determining factor in your success in chemistry. Rather, I think things like your ability to manage time, your effort, your performance in labs, your writing skills, your responsibility, things like that. Okay, give yourself an honest assessment. Just circle or you can use the markup function to highlight which of the words here. And then down here, I want you to make a choice. It does not set things in stone. It just says, my gut at this point is that I think I should be in either academic level or honors chemistry. All right. And also in the directions, I have an attachment that explains the difference between academic and honors. The main thing really is pacing and your math capability. Okay. So I really need you to write something thoughtful here. Okay. Multiple sentences is what I'm looking for. I have an A in your class is not enough of a reason to recommend you for honors. It seems like it would be, but I want to know something. Or if you're a really strong student and you definitely want academic, what's the reason? You know, you're making a claim here, and just like we have in our class, you need to back it up with evidence and reasoning. Okay, this is meant to be a conversation, but if we can't meet and talk about it, at least this gives me more of a picture of what is going on in your life and things like that when you decide whether you're interested in academic or honors. Okay, I will put my recommendation down here. So please don't circle any of this or check these boxes. All I need you to do is fill in this spot and then put your first marking grade in here for marking period 3. I know it's not accurate. I know you didn't get a chance to make up those reassessments. It's okay. I'm going in with that knowledge. Then the second page, career goal. We need to start thinking about where your science course choices will take you depending on what you want to do as a career goal. If you're very interested in business, then I'm not going to have a lot of electives to suggest to you. But if you're thinking about being a veterinarian, then I might be able to help. If you have no clue, that's okay too. And please read these comments that I've put on the side of the document here to help you. All right. Please make sure you don't skip this part. It really helps me make the best recommendations, and I can even recommend things that are outside of my department. This section here, the recommended course sequence, please don't fill that out. I will be the one to fill this out when I turn it back to you. And then down here, these are all the electives that we currently offer. Sometimes they run, sometimes they don't. But if you're interested in it, just use the drawing feature and maybe put a red dot next to something. Wow, that's kind of big. Okay, maybe make it a smaller dot. How about stroke thickness of 6? Let's say you're interested in taking honors human anatomy. There you go. That's good. So just put a dot next to it so I know that you have an interest in it. Okay. Please make sure you get this to me by Wednesday. I have to have all of these turned in on Friday at the latest. Normally we'd be having one-on-one conversations, but there just isn't time to do that with everyone. However, if this form makes you want a conversation, I'm very willing to meet with you via Zoom. Just email me and we'll find a time that we can talk together. Okay? So that's got to be done as soon as possible. I mean, it really should only take you about 10 minutes max. Then, this week. All right, so there's no OV listed here. Instead, it's a login. Now, during that 10-day temporary time, we had a cell division gizmo that I had offered. Not everyone took advantage of that, but those of you who did, you've already done this part. You've gone in, you've created your username, so you just need to log in. But if you have not done so, you're going to need to go to this website. Let me pull it up here, okay? And you're going to click enroll in a class. And when they ask for the class code, when they ask for the class code, that's this code that you see right here. Now, block 3 versus block 4, you have different codes, so make sure you're on your page for yourself, okay? So I already have a login, so I'm just going to use it to show you what we're doing here. You'll see that Ruggiero and I have all of our sections in here, and I'm just going to click into one. So here's the old cell division gizmo. Again, that's from weeks past. We're past it. These are the two pieces that we're going to be working with this week. One is called the handbook and one is called the STEM case. Okay, you want to go to the launch button in order to open it from the student side. And you're going to go through this handbook, which is basically like an interactive tech book that gives you some more detailed information. To help guide your note-taking process, we have included a handout sheet here, like for notes. You can open this in Kami, and you can take notes as you go through the handbook. As you go through the handbook, you're also going to be answering some multiple choice questions, okay? Make sure you do those on your notes, because then those will be the same multiple choice questions that you'll do in the homework quiz on Schoology. All right. Then part 2 is going to be what we call the STEM case study. And let me just show you a little bit what this looks like. You're going to see it from the teacher side because of how I'm logged in. Also, you might hear some groovy elevator music. I apologize. I hope I'm speaking loud enough. All right, so it's going to take you into the lab. All right, and here's what you're going to see. We already did the handbook on another opening, but the case is right here. So here is background information. Then you're going to do 3 mini experiments, and then you're going to make a conclusion. You should go through these in order. Feel free to take additional notes if you need to, okay? When you see orange words, those are things that are defined in case you're unsure. But as you click on each one of these, it's going to take you to the next page. And different things have different little interactive. So here they're telling us that we need to see some data, okay? So little boxes like this will pop up and they'll show you some data. They'll give you a chance to look at it. And then another box will pop up, okay? So they'll keep moving you forward. So you're going to go through all of these things. Sorry, let me get out of this. Oh, it might have me in lockstep because I'm viewing as a student. Anyway, okay, this is what I wanted to show you. You're going to go through these steps in order, but then when you get down to conclusions, you need to make it all the way through to this part that says case completed. You have to click on the word case completed so that it officially submits all your answers, and then you're done with your independent work. It's a really cool kind of activity. It gives you a chance to role play and to apply what you've learned on natural selection. It's going to stretch you a little bit, and that's a good thing, okay? So please do not leave this all for, Sunday night at 10 o'clock. This is going to take some time, and maybe you spend some time on it and you come back. Total, the case should only take you about, with the handbook, it should take you about an hour. But feel free to break it up. I don't know that I'd sit through and do it all in one sitting. That might be difficult. Maybe do the handbook at one time and do the case study at another time, okay? So if you already have a login for this because you did the cell division gizmo, that's great. You can just log in. If not, use the code to do the enrollment. Okay, so part 1 is the handbook, part 2 is doing the case study. There's nothing to submit here on Schoology for that. You'll type all your answers right into the Virtual Labs website. It will save them and it will notify me that you have completed it. Okay. There's the homework quiz, so complete that. It's the same questions that are embedded in the handbook note sheet. Remediation and extension, not so much this week, just because we did a lot last week. You might want to jump into week 4 if you're still struggling with natural selection at this point. I can't recommend watching this TED video and doing this TED worksheet enough. It will really put you ahead in the case study, and you might want to do it before you start the case study, but maybe after the handbook. Paul Anderson, he is one of the AP biology teaching gurus, but his explanation of evolution is just so fantastic and it sticks in your head. It's this very brief worksheet where he just says, look at your hand, and each one of your fingers represents a different source of evolution. And it's a 5-6 minute video, I think. It's a 6-minute video, but really, really helpful. So I highly suggest looking at that. And there's an optional slideshow there, just extra information if you're interested about speciation. This folder is empty because, like I said, there's no independent work to turn in on Schoology this week, but we do have a Pear Deck formative. Okay, here's your live session link if you're going to be doing it with me on Thursday during your allotted time. And if you're doing the self-paced link, this is what you would click on. One thing I do want to reach out is that in previous weeks, as soon as a folder is completed, I update this link. So if you go back into the Pear Deck, what I've added is a link to your takeaways so you can see what the questions were and what your answers were. And then beneath it, we've made a slideshow answer key that goes with it as well. So as each week wraps up, and it usually takes a day or two, so maybe wait till Wednesday, I'll have the week 4 Pear Decks assessed, and then I'll have your takeaways and the answer key posted for that. Okay, so just quick review where we are this week. We're going to be doing something different. We're going to be working through this gizmo on Explore Learning. And by the way, we're going to be using this much more often. It's a really great virtual lab experience, especially as we get into ecology and cell energy. You've got to hand in a homework quiz on Schoology. You've got to complete the virtual case study at the Explore Learning website. And you need to make a Pear Deck submission. All right. Please do not forget about those chem recommendations. I am available always, anytime with your email questions, and I hope you have a great week. All right.